represented. Woo! Hey, 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 hey. I can't see any chats yet, oh, you guys, eh? Hey, can I see the comments from Dubai, Bray City, obviously. You're welcome. Joining from Dubai, UAE. Thank you, Joy. Cornelius, where are you joining us from? Dan, where are you joining us from? Shai Amala says from Dubai. Oyoo says from Kenya with love. Yeah. Hey, I forgot the greeting from Kenya. Ooh, how can I forget? Sambo. Yeah? Is it Sambo? Did I get it right? All right. Thank you guys for joining. Awesome. Great. So we're just gonna kickstart now. We apologize for the mix-up with timing and all of that. It's the first time we're doing the African version, so please bear with us. As with everything that is new, sometimes like a child trying to walk, sometimes you stumble, you fall, and then you get up again until your feet are strong on the ground. So please bear with us. From next week, we're going to have a proper timing and have everything in place. So, but for today, because of the time mix up in timings, we have just about an hour. Right now, we have 53 minutes to go on this program because there's going to be another set of, e-Bookery basically happening from, across in the English version, India mostly, but English, India. And so it's going to be holding for 5 p.m. Dubai time, which is in about 52 minutes right now. So because of that, this might feel a little bit rushed, but please just bear with us, okay? Just let's do this with love. And then from next week, we're going to have it all figured out with proper structure. And then we won't have to hurry. We have to stay with each other and dissect the book and get your reviews and get your questions in. So once again, I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you to our speakers who are right on time. Gladwell, we welcome you. Oyoo, thank you. And thank you so much for every other person who's here. I see you, Shaimala. I see you, Shaimala. I see you, Millicent. And I see you, and Joy, of course. So please also, this is streaming on YouTube as we speak. So you can also kind of, Mr. Anil, if you can share the link for the YouTube so that people who are here can also share the link quickly to their friends on WhatsApp so that they can join on YouTube even if they can't get into Zoom over here. Sure. And then we also have a group where we converge together, where we have our communications going during the week, which is called the Brain City group. And it's a WhatsApp group if you would like to be a part of that, to know and to discuss, to be one of the volunteers that will help us, join. Then please, you can join the e-Bookery Africa and be a part of what we are doing. So I'm just going to quickly just share with you something, what is the e-Bookery Africa about? So about e-Bookery Africa chapter, it's like our objective is to read. We bring readers together through networking across the globe. We share literature through storytelling. We allow all participants to engage freely and discuss the various book reviews. We bring up suggestions, points of view, and thoughts that will help mold all of us as we engage in conversation, participation, exchange ideas, and build us in life. We promote a love of literature in a positive and nourishing environment. We support public speaking and nurture budding speakers to encourage all our participants to read more and widely. And this adds to the diversity of our thoughts. We are a growth mindset opportunity. We have a growth mindset opportunity to be creative, mainly to the lead members, from the planning to the organization of the event and all of that. So these are some of the things that we can do on the e-Bookery group. So you can be a part of that. You can invite people to be part of that. And then just let's take it further from there. Okay, without further ado, I'm just going to call on our first speaker for the day. to just take it away with, her review. And so I'm going to be calling out the ladies first. So guys, do not be, don't be angry with us. But yes, I mean, you can say it's a men's world, but then ladies comes first. Okay. So I'm going to be calling on Gladwell to come share with us her review of The Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wife. Hey, okay. I heard a lot about this book and I can't wait to hear what Gladwell has to share with us. So Gladwell, are you ready for us? We would like for you to put on your camera now so we can see your beautiful face. No, you are our speaker. No. How can we not see you? Come on. You are the speaker. How can you? No, this is not a podcast. This is a visual program. Come on. Don't worry. Don't be shy.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? Look at you. Look at how beautiful you are. And you want to deprive us from seeing this? Anyways,
it's
you're
the
welcome.
Internet. It might lag. That's why.
Oh, don't worry. It won't lag. It won't lag. Hey. We speak from lagness into it. All right, ma'am. Take it away. Thank you so much. So we'll just have about 15 minutes and then we'll go. So this is what we'll do. We'll give you 15 minutes to do your review. And then I'm going to call on Oyoo to another 15 minutes to do his review. And then we'll now take on the questions afterwards so that we can maximize the time we have. Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Gladwell from Kenya. So I think we'll go straight to the book, The Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wives. And in summary, it's a book about a family, like a husband has 4 wives, and it's just how they live together and the conflicts they undergo, and and their children, how polygamy plays in that family. So I found very many things admirable about the book because the author chose to use different points of view to tell their stories. In that we didn't have one, so we had Iyafemi speaks, Segi, Iyatope, and Bolanle. All of them, all the 4 wives, we got to hear their points of view, which really, I think, invited us to know why they make decisions the way they do because of the various experiences that they went through. So that was a really cool thing to do. I think the author did a good job, as opposed to having, let's say, any other point of view, because I don't know. It's sometimes for like a polygamous home. Can you imagine if we had one narrator, let's say one of them, it would be very biased because we know co-wives and their jealousy. It's just the way it is. So that was a cool thing they did. And the plot of the story. So basically the husband has 4 wives and they have children, and all of them, they are keeping secrets. The 3 wives, they are keeping secrets of their lives. And the youngest, the graduate, when she joins the family, that's when this secret comes to be revealed, that Babasegi, the man, the husband, is impotent or sterile or whatever. He cannot have children, and so and yet the other wives have children. So it's revealed that all the 3 slept with different men who sad the children, and that's quite sad, considering how much the man loved Babasegi, loved children and loved them so much, and how he treated them. So this young wife, the youngest, Bolanle, is unable to get pregnant, and it's obvious because she's not having any other affair besides being married to her husband. So the plot, that's just the plot. And I think the best thing about it is that the ending was, I think it was unexpected, because how many men would decide to remain with their wives even after infidelity, because that would really bruise their ego. We normally hear men tell us, do anything, disrespect me, refuse to do chores, or just do anything, but don't cheat on me. But yet, knowing this man and his big ego and all throughout how he has carried himself, I really thought that he would chase them away, because that's a grievous sin. I mean, how can you cheat and have children as evidence? But then, in the end, they stay. They stay, like they decide to just go on with that union, because surely what would the society say? And the way he brags a lot about how good he is. So yeah, I found that really cool. That I didn't see the ending, or I didn't see the. I couldn't predict that that would happen. I was very sure that that marriage would just collapse, but it didn't. Yeah. And what else? Oh, I love the language also. It was simple, and I was able to, I mean, she used language to really bring out the setting and how their way of life and their thoughts, like when you read and you are reading about, let's say, Yafemi, just the choice of words, you'll be able to pick that, yeah, this is that woman, how she used to be. She really I think hated everybody else. Yeah. And the second wife, who was just, she was like a sheep. She was like a victim, And when you look at the language that Lola shows to even talk about her, or her dialogue, you will be able to tell that this is Iatope, even without that being mentioned. Same to Iasegi. Yeah. Bolanle, I feel like her voice and Iatope almost merge. They are not.
Your mic is muted.
Yeah. Gladwell mic is
Gladwell, your
muted.
mic is muted. Yeah.
Do you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
the only
yes.
thing,
Can you
I think
go? Can you go a
some of the
little?
things that
Can you
maybe
start a
were
little
quite
again?
off was just the tone of, or the voice of Bolanle and Iatope. They were not distinct, almost merged. They almost merged. And considering that she's almost she's a very vital point in this story, that she's the one who exposes everything. I feel like some work maybe should have been done more to her character or her voice, because we don't get so close to her, except that she's the wife who is hated the most. Yeah. And I also think that Lola didn't, when it comes to characters like, let's say, Bolane's father. Yeah, Bolane's father. Um, I feel like it was really unfair that all we know about him is that he's a drunkard, and that's all. Like, we didn't really get to know him, and also, so maybe, I don't know, I didn't find his role important in the book in any way, because after all, he was missing all along. He was like an absentee father. So maybe they would have just done away with him than just to let us know that he was a drunkard. I don't know. I think so. Yeah, yeah. What else? Just a minute. Yes.
Okay.
And lastly, lastly, I had this problem where the wives have nothing else to talk about except their husband and Bolanle. So like, is that how their life is like? Just revolves around hating this other one and their husband. Don't they have hobbies? And yeah, what are other things they do with their lives besides their husband? You know, like weeding or just something else. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that, succinct summary of the secret lives of Baba Segi, Baba Segi's wife. Yeah, the secret life of Baba Segi's wife. Okay, so let's just put our questions aside. Like let's keep note of our questions, and I'm going to call our next speaker, and then afterwards we are going to have like a Q&A session quickly before we bring this to a close. So now I'm going to be calling on Oyoo Mboya, who is going to be giving us a review of Going Down River Road. Yeah, Going Down River Road. So, Oyoo, are you ready for us?
Of course I am.
I see that. You're welcome. So take it away.
Thank you. Now, Going Down River Road. As the title suggests, there's a place in Nairobi, Kenya called River Road. And the name River Road has become synonymous to a place of crime, trickery, and where all contrabands are sold. And to borrow from the works of Professor Wole Soyinka, he uses the road as a symbolic form of the gray zone, the uncertainties of life. And to link that with Going Down River Road, it's a walk down the uncertainties of life. The protagonist character, Ben, happens to be a very unfortunate man, that nothing works in his favor. One, he's fired from the army. And in his hustles, he secures a job at an insurance firm, where again, fate meets him and he's fired. The insurance firm cites his soiled past. And when Ben loses his job at the insurance firm, he allows himself to sink and swim in the river of fate. And so he decides to be the law of the law, the wretched of the earth, as the term calls them. And so he decides to work as a contractor in a construction site. He's a laborer. Remember, this is one man who, at one moment in time, had risen to the peaks and pinnacles of life as an army lieutenant. And to come down and degrade himself as a laborer was him accepting his fate. And so he goes down River Road. He goes down the road of uncertainty. And as a laborer, he meets a friend called Ochola, and Ochola becomes his bosom buddy, and the two are united by human vices. They are said to be in love with Kangara, a local and illicit brew, and the cheap hookers they meet in the Kangara dens. And in his frequent visits to the brothels, Ben happens to meet a secretary cum hooker called Winnie, and the two fall in love. And they begin to raise a family. Ben, as a man who's met fate more than once, has a congenital goodness in him. He's just a good man by nature. And so he accepts to take Winnie in, irrespective of the burdens of her past as a hooker. And Winnie has a child that she's walking into this marriage with. The kid is named Baby. Baby is young. By the time Winnie meets Ben, Baby is around 6 months old. And when the two begin life, Ben accepts Baby as a child, his child. as the road down river, as the road down river road happens, the uncertainties of life meet Ben again, and the woman he thought would bring him back and redeem him elopes with her boss, some Mzungu, a white boss, and Winnie leaves Ben. Unfortunately, this is where the story takes its twist, and this is where I think Mwangi, as a writer, scores. Many a times it is known that men are the ones who go absent. I heard my co-speaker today, Gladwell, talk about an absent father. Many a times in the narratives we share, it's the fathers that go absent, but here it's the mother going absent. Winnie leaves Ben with her biological child, baby, and elopes with her Mzungu boss. Again, Winnie is on her own river road, down the river road of bliss, and leaves Ben there to suffer and raise the kid. As I mentioned earlier, Ben is a man with an innate goodness, and so he takes baby in and raises him and takes him to school. Baby is not enthusiastic with education, and at one time, I quote, Ben makes a statement. Baby has been sent home for some indiscipline situation in school. And when Ben is called to remedy this, he makes a statement and says, actually, baby was found lying on another young girl behind the classroom. And Ben says, if that's good for a son of a hooker, it's a good start. Again here, people meet their fates. That in as much as we try to change the roads we want to take, fate awaits us. And so Ben moves out of the house that they'd been living with Winnie and joins his friend Ochola, the gentleman he met at the construction site. And the two begin to try pulling ends. So Ochola is another gentleman who had a family. He'd left his family back in the rural village to go look for work in the city, Nairobi. And around the time that Ben moves in to live with Ochola, Ochola's family, with the hunger and frustration of the upcountry, they move to look for their absent father. And so they find Ochola living in a shack for a house down in the slums. And the huge family Ochola is a polygamous man with three wives and a multitude of children. So the huge family moves in. And so Ben and Ochola have to part. And the story ends in that hazy way. Now, talking about the plot of the book, I think most of Major Mwangi's novels they just happen like life. And I think it's a place he scores highly as a postmodernist writer, that he does not have the linear plot of happenings. His stories are like our lives. Things just happen. We make our plans and things happen. So in the book, things just happen because the story opens with Ben already in a come we stay marriage union with Winnie. In the course of our reading, we get to learn how the two met, and then deep into the book, we learn how Ben was fired from the army, and things just happen. There is no linear plot that we can say that we are moving in a systematic way. About the setting, the book is set in an urban place of the 70s, having been published, I think, around 76. It's an urban setup of the 70s. Fortunate enough, it still depicts the urban settings of our present day Nairobi. And that is the timing, the setting in relation to time. In relation to place, the book is set in the marginalized areas of any urban setup. The slums with its ills and vices, and a number of events oscillate around the brothels, the drinking dens, and back to the shacks in the speakeasies or the shanties. And I think that marks the summary of what the book entails. Now, on certain things I found quite fascinating with the book and with Major Mwangi as a writer is his nature of writing. Major Mwangi, I would consider him as reflectionist. His art is that which is very static. Unlike all other books that want to provide remedies to our problems, Mwangi doesn't care about providing solutions. He only depicts, he only reflects what the society sees and leaves us at that. And that reflectionist view of art, I think, is a path that is less taken. Many times, most stories want to give remedies and solutions, but Mwangi is here just telling us how life is in the slums, how the wretched of the earth try to empower themselves and climb through the societal ladder in vain. Again, one part I found rather not so clear. One thing I didn't like about the book is Mwangi's use of humor. The book is just the tone is so humorous, and he's addressing serious issues affecting the society, but he does it in such a light touch that the whole book becomes an understatement. You know, things like promiscuity and child prostitution and drug addiction are serious issues affecting our present day society, but Mwangi handles them with a lot of humor. And so the question comes in that Mwangi is romanticizing poverty. Poverty has been made to feel as a norm. And here the author has totally disempowered his characters. We expected that maybe a character would rise from poverty, the common narrative of from grass to grace, maybe one or two. But his characters are there enjoying their misery. I think it's what Charles Bukowski would say, find what kills you and embrace it. They have found what kills them in prostitution and in Kangara, the illicit brew, and they have embraced them. I think that that marks my review, the end of my review.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Oyoo. Thank you very much. Wow. Okay. I love the way that you took us through the story. And I'm just imagining like, oh, okay. Like, but I think, like you said about the author, like he has chosen his own style of writing. Like, I guess the reason that, I don't know, I'm just saying that, just feeding off of what you said, that probably the reason he's playing down or using the humor, like you said, to talk about things that are salient in the society, but not, maybe it's because he's not providing any solution. And that's why he's just leaving it like that and just probably downplaying them. Because after all, he's not going to tell you, oh, this is the way out or this is what you're supposed to do. But he's just saying to you that there are actually people like this who, like you said, have discovered what kills them and embrace it, right? So I guess that is his style of writing. And I mean, I feel like he's found his own niche and he's just, balling in that niche. Thank you so much for taking us through that detailed summary of the book. It sounds like it's going to be an interesting read because it's not linear, it's unexpected. You're not sure where it's going to end. You're not sure where it's starting from and where it's going to, and all of those things. So for all of us in the house, please, if you do have a question, now will be the time to ask so that our reviewers can just kind of answer your question. Would you like to ask any questions? Do we have any questions in the house? If you want to ask a question, you can either type it in the comment section or you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah.
Any question in the house?
EJ, I don't have a question as such, but the thing is, both the books are so powerful books. So I could not read these books. This is one of the most difficult things because a lot of African authors are still not very known into other continents. The book is very powerful. They're coming through the first book about the polygamy. Okay, polygamy is not only an issue in Africa alone; it is in other parts of the world as well. I mean, in Europe or in Asia, this is a common issue all over, and that's a very good topic. What I understand from the book, I have noted down a few points here. Just wanted to note it down. The Lola Sherlin, that was a debut fiction, The Secret Lives of Babi Sagi's Wives, a perspective entertaining book. The thing is, how challenging this issue is in Africa still? This is something that I wanted to ask Gladwell,
Okay.
because she has addressed this issue on an e-Bookery platform. So, I mean, how challenging is this? I know that in India, it was a great, especially in the northern side, this was a great big issue at one point. But things are getting down. But how big a challenge is it in the African continent? This.
All right. Thank you. Gladwell?
Yeah, challenge. By challenge, you mean?
I mean, and is it too big an issue to handle?
No, not really. It's a common thing, and it's a common thing here, and most people learn to just cohabit. The only difference is that most of the polygamous homes don't share a house. So the first wife has their own house, the second another place, the third like that. Some of the communities they make the co-wives share a compound, but for others they prefer to put their wives in different places, different geographical locations. But yeah, polygamy works over here.
Is it socially acceptable
Yes.
in African countries?
It's acceptable, and it's even it's not against the law. So it's something that is there, and it's acknowledged, and people know this exists, and I think it's legal, really, because when you marry, let's say, a second wife, there is no implication.
Okay.
Well,
Yes.
I'll come in there and say, for the case of Nigeria, for example, it's not like it is legal like that. It's more of a traditional thing than a legal thing. Because so in let's say some years back, so let's say a decade or two back, it's like a traditional thing. So for those people who are still more inclined to the traditional setup, they don't see it as anything. Like it's normal. Like, okay, you are aware that your husband can just wake up tomorrow and say they want to get a new wife, right? But then in the modern society, in the modern day, it's like a no. Everybody's of the idea like, nope, it's just you and I, right? And that's why in the modern day, they go with, like, they're very keen on making it legal, right? To say, you know what, if I'm your legal wife, I am your legal. You can't marry legally 2 times. Like, you can't have 2 marriage certificates to one person, right? None that I know of, right? Because if you do it legally, then if you go marry somebody else, that's bigamy, and it's against the law, right? So a lot of people then now say, you know what? If we're going to go legal, like we're going to go legal, if you want to take this thing seriously, we're going to go legal. We're going to go to court and then do the church wedding and then do the traditional. And then I know I am your wife, or, I'm the only one there. So any other thing is going to be like side chick or extramarital affair. And people don't like women of nowadays don't want to do that.
They don't want to share. Of course. I understand. I mean, be it polygamy or polyandry, both. I mean, both the same way. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Great book, Gladwell, and great books, OSR. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions in the house, please?
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Joy. Go ahead.
Yes, even the current times, it's very hard to support polygamy based on the financial burdens that everyone is experiencing. So you find that most men now, they're not marrying many wives. They're keeping concubines instead.
Okay.
Same to women as well. I know women also who have 3-4 husbands. Because if you have 1 and 2, 3, 4 boyfriends, that means you have 4 husbands, right? So I think in the modern times, you cannot afford polygamy. During those old days, the parents had cows, they had big
farms.
I mean, they were doing a lot of things. But now in the modern city, you cannot afford even 2 wives. So you find that a husband will have one main house, who is the first wife, and then another mistress somewhere else. So that way he juggles between 2 houses. I read this book, I think 2 years ago, the Baba Singh, and what stood out actually was how it's very bad to have 4 different people with different characters into one homestead. It's always brewed, it brings in a lot of chaos.
True.
There's no love between the wives. And that's why they end up even losing their own child by poison. I think that was Gladwell. There was a poison somewhere, right?
Yes, yes.
That is what polygamy, brings about in our society. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Joy. Thank you very much. Yes, polygamy is just, it's like, I guess you're right about, having it, this is hard. It's not something you want to invest in. I mean, even having one wife and too many children is already like a nightmare if you don't calculate very well. Like this season or this era or this generation is not a time where you can have too many children, because you have to think about giving them the best education, providing well for them, and those things are pretty expensive nowadays. So then now having multiple of them out there, it's just adding to the level of poverty really in Africa. And I think that's one thing that we just probably need to open our eyes to in Africa and say, you know what, there is nothing wrong. And I think it's just tradition, for example, because the older people they cannot totally grasp it. Like, why would you want to have only 2 kids? Why would you want to have only 1 kid? We need like 5. You need so much kids. Like for them, their idea is, what if something happens to that only one child? Then it renders childless. But what the new age, family and young men and women are thinking is, how can I bring 3 kids into the world and I'm not able to care for them? I want my children to go to the best schools. I want my children to experience life in its totality. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to travel the world with them. But if there's so much, I mean, there is no possibility for that, because you'll be able to split or else otherwise you have to work harder to be able to raise enough funds to have that full experience of life. So I think polygamous is super expensive nowadays. Yes, it is. I agree with you, Joy. All right. Any other question for?
I agree with you, EJ. I totally agree with you. The polygamy was not just for fun. Basically, it was for kids. That's how the whole system was started. Okay. And I've read a recent study on the same thing. But the more the more a wife a man has, and the number of children will be reduced. This is an interesting study. Okay, things are changing. I'm happy that things are changing. Of course, you want to give your best to your kids. You don't want them to go through the difficult times. So absolutely, the things have changed now. I'm happy to know that. Yeah, I think Gladwell has raised her hand.
Yeah, Gladwell, please go.
Yeah, I have it's a comment really. I feel like, you see, some people have, some men have, let's say, illicit affairs, the side chicks and what have you. The only difference is that for polygamy, that is made clear. So it's there. It exists. So as long as someone has a lifestyle, like has another woman they are funding, that is just like a wife. So I think it's really, it's not something that we can just try and ignore that it does not exist or what, that it's bad. Because almost when you look at let's say our politicians in Kenya, always they have the scandals of women, or when anybody dies, it's like 90% a woman will come or women will come having your children. So and you will find that they have been funding their children. So some people have the means. Some people have the means. So I think those who cannot should have one wife. But those who can, really, because since people have illicit affairs, it's the same as having a wife. If you have been with someone for 10 years and you have 3 children, but your wife doesn't know she exists, that doesn't change a thing. That's like your wife also. Yeah.
So true. So true. Yeah. Of course, I don't think we can totally ignore that these things exist. They do exist. I mean, there are ladies out there who just are comfortable with the idea that, you know what, I just want to be a side chick. I don't even want to be the main one. I just want to be by the side. Those are the baby mamas of the nowadays that we have, that they just like, they don't want to commit 100%, but they just want to probably have their own kids and stay in their own house and have one guy take care of them where they are. So there's just a lot of, different ideas and different disposition to these matters. But yeah, you're right. We're not ignoring that these things doesn't exist. They do exist, but I just feel like it's just knowing what gives and what works for you, and just coming to terms with it and say, this is what I can accept and this is not what I cannot accept. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I see more people joining now when we're almost rounding up. But I guess also is that maybe people are already getting ready to be a part of the next session. So thank you guys for being in this first edition for the e-Bookery Africa. By God's grace, by next week we'll have a better put time so that we have time for each other. Really, we're able to go through and do some other fun stuff in between our reviews so that we can have a wholesome experience. But thank you so much for making it a date here. We love you and we hope that we're going to see you next week, and you won't come alone, but you're going to invite your friends who are also book lovers, and just let them know that they are free to join in and probably register to come share their insights about the books that they are reading, because the point for us is just encouraging more readings and more networking among people who, just gain insight from book reading. So I'm going to leave it now to Mr. Emil. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, EJ. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation, and we have done amazingly done, beautifully done. Thank you so much.
All right, so I think we're going to have to now call it a day for today, because by 5 p.m. we'll have the e-Bookery English happening again. If you want to join that and see what goes on there, so please click on the same link. You're going to be joining the same through the same link, for a different set of people, mostly from Asia, and then you can also be a part of that to learn one or two things from the book that they're going to be reviewing as well. And so officially, thank you to our beautiful speakers today, Oyoo, Mboya, and Gladwell, Pampa, Chingano. Thank you so much. And for those of you who are joining us late, we're sorry. We had to rush things up for this first edition. Next week, we're not going to be rushing, so you'll get information about the timing. And if you would like to be a part or a part of the community on WhatsApp, the link was shared earlier on. You can click on that link to join the WhatsApp group, just to be a part of the community. And then also, if you don't want to be a part of the community, but you just want to keep joining the review session, you're also free to do that, and also free to invite your friends to do that as well. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, and take care. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
God bless you.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
Yes.